This episode is pretty much for all the people that have been asking me the same question since they started watching me on YouTube. And that is, what do I recommend for equipment? And what is my equipment myself? So with that all being said, let's get into it.
After high demand.
Listening to you and Justin, that's a professional podcast right there.
The man with a voice.
He's got a wicked voice on it too. He does. He's got oh my goodness. I listen to his voice. I'm like, dude, you could go places with that voice. You are freaking phenomenal.
Has his own podcast. And what does he think?
Oh,
BoyStick presents the Honestly Lazy Podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stick. Welcome to the HonestlyLazyShow with your host, me, BoyStick. I'm sorry. I'm so used to talking like I'm still doing BoyStick videos, which they might make a return one day, but for right now, they are definitely on pause. They take way too long to actually make, and plus, I haven't found any videos really worthy of making fun of. So, BoyStick is on pause. It probably will make a comeback, but the Honestly Lazy podcast has been doing really good, and I'd like to thank you all from bottom of my heart, because honestly, the views I've been seeing on YouTube, I didn't even expect. I was expecting maybe 10 views, and even 20 is happy enough for me. I've been seeing people actually comment. People have been texting me saying it actually sounds good, which I can't believe, because in a room like this, I haven't soundproofed or anything yet. That's actually very, very, very unbelievable. But hey, here we are. Episode, I do believe, 6. I don't know. I'm just going and going and going. Before we get into the topic, I kind of did it at the beginning, but I'll get more into it. I'd like to give a couple shout outs. Obviously, the first shout out to my dude, Suited Bird. That guy, literally every time I upload a podcast, is messaging me on Twitter saying, dude, it's sounding better and better, so thank you very much. Big shout out to my man Paul Williams over at the Warm Beer podcast. He's been giving me much love, like always. I'd like to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Miss Kirsten Levine, I think her last name is. Met her in college, and I know she was probably joking, but she did, when I posted on my Instagram last week that I wasn't doing a podcast, she messaged me saying boo, and she dedicated her whole Thursday to listening to podcasts. So if that's actually true, thank you very much, Kirsten, for listening, because I honestly didn't think you would. Give a shout out to Quinn Marr over at the Guys Being Dudes podcast. He's been giving me tricks and tips. He wants me to start up my own merch and said he'd even help me out because he has his own merch line. Go over to the Guys Being Dudes Instagram and check out their clothing. Right now, they are pretty much taking the clothing they got for this month for Movember and donating some of it towards Movember. Also, he's growing out his mustache to pretty much donate money the same. I guess since I'm doing that, give a shout out to Hotter Show. He's doing the exact same thing, posting every single day how his beard's growing. He trimmed it down, and for November, he's going to post every day his beard growth, and he's pretty much saying the same thing, donate money, and it all goes towards what Movember is about, which is pretty cool to me. Unfortunately, I will not be doing it this year, and it makes me feel actually very shitty that I'm not doing it. But next year, I will definitely be doing it. I'd like to do what Quinn Marr's actually doing and doing merch that is going towards the whole thing. But that will be next year. For right now, I am too busy to do anything. I'm going to Cuba in a few weeks, and I've never even been on a plane before. So remember that things I want to do before I'm 25, already scratching shit off of it. Killing it so far. But with that all being said, welcome to the Honestly Lazy Podcast. If you hear some random noise in the background, I am sorry. That is because of it's getting cold out, and that is my heater going. Like I said, I really need to soundproof this house or this room, but don't have it. But maybe I can explain it with this episode, because this is my what equipment I have, my recommendations if you're just starting up, and my dream equipment episode. I guess it's just going to be called the equipment episode. Yeah, creativity right up the ass. That sounds like something I am, very creative. But you know, I've been getting this question for a long time. When me and Craig were just doing the Honestly Lazy show, it was always asked. When I was doing BoyStick, it was asked, I'm pretty sure even when I was doing live streams on BoyStick, it was a question asked, like, what's my equipment? So I figured, you know what, it's time to fucking do it because I feel like it's been like a month overdue. So pretty much in this episode, what I have for the equipment episode is beginner ideas, recording software, where to upload my equipment, and my dream equipment. So with that all being said, let's just get into this podcast right now. So if you're a beginner, I'm not the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to equipment if you're starting out. I kind of got lucky with my equipment because I literally got it as a Christmas present. My parents pretty much, because when I got this microphone, I was really into rap music and I wanted to become, unfortunately, a rapper, which today I found an old verse and I feel like I want to do a video about it. So that might be a future Honestly Lazy podcast or a future little other series I'm doing that I got ideas for on the Honestly Lazy Show. But I was pretty lucky with the equipment I got. I mean, people have been asking me. I've literally not changed it since I was 16 years old, and the sound to me actually sounds pretty good. But if you're in a different situation, unlike me, that you don't really have like parents that will buy you it for Christmas or something like that, maybe I can give you a little bit of an idea of what to really get for your own money. I mean, the first thing is this all is if you have a laptop. Honestly, if you don't have a laptop, like, I don't really know what to tell you. You can do it on your phone. I know Hodder started on his phone, but I'm not really good on how you can do it through a phone. You should just go over and DM the Hodder Show about this. But if you were asking me right now, Stick, I want to get into podcasting, but I don't know how. First thing I'd ask you is what your budget is, and if you have a laptop. Because I already had a friend a few weeks ago say she wanted to do a podcast, but she thought it cost so much money, and it really does not cost a lot of money to start a podcast. So if you literally have like no money, literally nothing at all, here's what I'd say you do. Because I got a feeling you're a drinker, just like me. You're just a big drinker. What you do, instead of going out and spending $45 on a case of beer or 26 or whatever the hell you want, save that $45. And what I'd recommend is that you just go to your local music store. I'd recommend like Long McQuaid or some, because they have more kind of, I guess, more equipment to work with. And just pretty much tell them you got $45, you want to start a podcast, what can you do for me? And usually what I think they will do for you is give you a dynamic mic with a USB plug-in that just plugs right into your laptop, and then you pretty much can just record right there. Which, the next thing, I guess I'll skip to the recording software. So if you just get a $30 mic, right, $30 mic, and you want to record it, but you have nothing to record with, go online, download Audacity. That's I misspelled it. All right, let me try again. AUDACITY. It is a free recording software where you can just record everything right into it. Mono, stereo, whatever the mic is. I record in mono. This mic can use mono. And it literally takes 2 seconds. You can control your mic volume right in the system. And you can record, or you can control it even on the side, right wherever you're recording from the, whatever the hell that's called, the channel, I guess, the recording channel. And you can just mess with all right there, so it actually sounds all right. The good thing about dynamics are, like, right now I have a condenser, where a dynamic is pretty much straightforward, where you have to be pretty close to it. It's pretty much like a concert mic, you know? They pretty much put it really close to their mouth, and you don't really hear anything else around it. That's the good thing about the dynamic mics. And I recommend, if you're going to do podcasting, get a dynamic mic, because it doesn't catch everything around it. Like, I went to the Hodder Show. I went on the Hodder Show, Jesus, it's been a few years now. I think 2 or 3 years ago now. And that's all he had was a kitchen and 2 dynamic mics, no soundproofing or anything. And holy shit, they work so well, especially with the environments that you probably don't, or you can't afford to soundproof. Just like me, I can't afford to soundproof this room right now, where this condenser mic is literally picking up all the echo and everything. Now, to some, an echo sounds pretty cool. Like, I know the Bill Burr podcast has an echo to it and stuff. Me, on the other hand, I really don't like echo. I think it makes it sound a little bit more unprofessional, but I could be wrong, because from what people are saying to me is that my podcast actually sounds pretty good. I don't believe it. But that's an easy way. Just $30 or $45. Go to a store, USB plug-in. But if you have a little bit more money, all right, let's say you got like $160 in your pocket and you want to start recording, I'd recommend getting a Blue Yeti mic. And the simple reason is this. Sorry, I keep moving my hand. There's a fly in here and I can't kill it. If you're watching the video, you might be listening on Spotify. Honestly Lazy podcast on Spotify. That's where you find it. But anyways, back to the topic. Let's say that you kind of got a little bit of money and you get this Blue Yeti. Well, the Blue Yeti is a cool little thing because the Blue Yeti, instead of you fucking with everything in the recording software, it has its own volume knob right on top of it. It even comes with its own little stand, and Blue Yetis, from what I understand, is what a lot of even the biggest streamers use to record their shit. And honestly, I've watched streamers use it. I've watched even like PewDiePie use them. I've watched a bunch of people use these mics, and they're a great startup mic because they sound just like this, and it's a USB plug-in. So it's pretty much a win-win, because when you get to what my mic is, you have to buy an interface, and those can get pretty expensive. I don't remember the price of mine, but I'll get into it when I get into my equipment myself. But the Blue Yeti is a good little thing to start with, or is a good little thing if you have $160. And let me tell you, it will probably last you a lifetime. Because I think the Hotter Show has one, and he loved using it from what I remember. I know people who just live stream and shit like that. They say they're really good. If you're a beginner, Blue Yeti, or just go and spend $30 on a cheap dynamic mic and just get it done. And then from there, just save your money and get up to the next level. I want to say there's one more. I'd say if you were doing it from your phone, I'm not 100% on this. Don't quote me on this because I haven't used a lavalier mic in a long time, but I'm pretty sure you can buy lavalier mics that just plug right into your headphone jack, and you can record them from there. And they're just a clip-on, put them near your mouth, and then you just record. And then you could go walk around and record and shit like that. Don't quote me on that, though. Like I said, I haven't used a lavalier mic in so long. But the lavalier mic will be the same price as a dynamic mic, and you don't need a laptop if you're doing it that way. Because nowadays, you can upload your podcast from your phone, laptop. I don't know. Those are the only two ways I can think of. You can think of another way, then, tablets. Yes, I always forget about the tablets. Those are the new things. But it really doesn't cost that much to really do anything or to really get your podcast going. Now, let's say you get all that, right? You got your recording, got a few episodes, but you don't know where to upload it. Now, for me, obviously, I do the YouTube thing. I just like doing YouTube. I like being in front of a camera. That's what I've always liked to do. But you don't have to just upload to YouTube. You don't need to spend money on a camera. And that's where people tell me, oh, it's so expensive because like you do it for YouTube. Well, yeah, but you don't have to. What I recommend is if you go into my description, sorry for stuttering, there's a website called Anchor.fm. And Anchor.fm is hands down the best place to ever upload. And they're not even sponsoring me for this. They are just hands down the best place to upload just your audio waves. Because you create an account, you put a logo on it, and it will instantly upload to Spotify. And then from there, you'll randomly just get emails that's on other things. Mine's on iTunes Music. I don't really know. I just know Spotify and iTunes Podcast is where it is. And there's a few other places I've never really heard of. But if you have no money and you don't want to use SoundCloud, because after a while you have to start paying for SoundCloud, download Anchor.fm and just post it there. Then on top of it, create social medias for your podcast and get it the hell out there. It's really not that hard to get a podcast out nowadays. Same with YouTube videos. You just get it out there. You post it on Reddit, you post it on Facebook, Twitter, wherever the hell you want to post it. You use little snippets, post it places, get the name out there. And on top of it, I recommend while you're doing this, just have fun with it. I can't stress that enough. Don't do a podcast if you're not having fun with it. Because like BoyStick videos, I loved filming, and I really do still love them, but they take too much work, and unfortunately sometimes they're not a lot of fun. It takes a lot of takes. It takes a lot of me redoing, recutting, reshooting, a bunch of work. BoyStick videos, me making fun of a video that only lasts 10 minutes, usually take me 5 hours to edit. A podcast, 20 minutes. I'm already giving you little things that I want to talk about in when why podcasts are taking over the game. I'm sorry. But I hope that is a good starter for you of like starter equipment and where to upload. Anchor.fm. Holy shit. Saved my life. Love it to death. Now, the true question. The next one on my cue card. My equipment. I'm going to just start off right now. I'm using a Canon 70D camera. The only reason why I have a Canon 70D is because I had to go to college. That was the cheapest camera that I could recommend. So you could even do Canon Rebel if you want to do video podcasting. Upload it to iMovies if you have an iPad, or just upload it, link the audio together, and send it out. It's simple as that, all right? That's the camera if you want to do it. Now, I recommend one of these beautiful mic stands I have right here where I can move it up and down and you can't really hear it moving. That's a really handy thing to have, especially when this old mic stand that's behind me, this thing would get in my way so goddamn much. This is just a newer mic stand. And how do you spell it? I need to find it. Excuse me. Oh, it's not newer. So I got the box right here. Sorry, I had to leave for a sec. It is Apply. PYLE PMKSHO1. Just type that into Amazon, and I think I spent maybe $50 on it. But if you have a dynamic mic, usually you can even just hold those in your hands and shoot the shit into it. It's just because I have a condenser mic, I can't do shit with it, because without it, you just, like, it makes too much noise. I kind of want to take it off because, I don't know, just because it will make a lot of noise and ruin my podcast. The next thing I use is obviously a MacBook. You can use any laptop. Audacity is good for everything. I just would recommend just getting a laptop. It makes it a lot easier. The next thing I use is a Steinberg UR22. It's a 2 plug-in thing, aux thing. I don't really know what the hell to call it all. Pretty much all it does is control your volume. You can put your headphones into it so you can hear everything that you're saying. And honestly, I'd recommend it. It is cool. I did have one before. This isn't my original interface. I had one before where it went out of date. I couldn't even use it on my MacBook. I couldn't use it on the laptop I had before. So I had to buy the Steinberg UR22. But it all works the same, and it works amazing. Like, I would recommend a Steinberg product to anyone. It even comes, if you buy it, it comes with Cubase, which is another recording software, which I have used, but I don't. I would recommend if you want to spend money, but there's a shit ton out there. I'm good with Audition, but that's because I went to college for it, and I know how to use, Audition a lot more than any other software. But the Steinberg UR22 is hands down. If you're just starting out a podcast and you have a little bit more money, I'd recommend it. Now, the microphone I used is an Apex 435. This thing I've had since I was 16 years old, and let me tell you, I've never seen it lose its value. I don't really know how much it is. I never really looked it up because my parents said it was a lot of money, so I've never really looked it up, and I don't want to look it up. But if you want to look it up yourself and see how much it is, by all means, go ahead. But I don't really care. Like I said, there's a lot cheaper ways than getting one of these. And even with my future equipment from there, it just goes through the roof for me. I'm going to be broke as shit. Now, Dynamics, I recommend a pop filter, but if you're going to get a condenser, I recommend a pop filter like this. If you're listening to this on audio, then you can't see it. It's just the round thing that's in front of my mic, and what a pop filter does is kind of protect you from the See, you can still kind of hear it because this is an old ass pop filter. I gotta buy another one. But look, I'll do an example. So here's it with the pop filter on, and here's it without it. Big fucking difference, eh? I'd recommend a pop filter to anybody. Hands down, if you are going to do a podcast, you need a pop filter. It sounds way better. I even noticed when radio hosts are kind of doing their shows, I guess they don't use pop filters because I do hear it, but it's usually like a Wow, okay. I can't do it. But, you know what I mean? A pop filter is recommended to anybody that is trying to get into podcasting. So I guess that's it for my equipment, actually. I thought I had a lot more, but I don't. Pop filters, mic stand. Yes, I've gone through everything of my equipment. I know I kind of rushed it. I'm sorry. At the same time, I'm not. It's not really that special. Do research if you want equipment. I just kind of lucked out with mine. I didn't know a fucking thing when I first got this equipment. I still don't really know my equipment, but I know I have a Steinberg UR22 and an Apex 435. And if there wasn't boxes with them, I'd be screwed. Now, let's talk about the future of the Honestly Lazy podcast and what I want for equipment. There isn't actually too much I want. Obviously, I want the Shure SM7B. Actually, if you go back to the old days of the Honestly Lazy Show with me and Craig, I rented one for a while. The only thing is, if you're going to get an SM7B, you have to buy this little adapter thing that gives it phantom power because it's so powerful that my Steinberg, I had to crank pretty much all the way up to get to normal level volume with when Craig was just using his mic, which is actually a 435B. Cheaper and pretty much works the exact same as mine. The next thing is I want a 4 plug-in mic thing or interface. I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry. Steinberg sells them. They're about $400 on top of the Shure SM7B, which is $535. That thing has not gone down in price in years, and it pisses me off. But I want a 4 plug-in just so when I have guests on, I want to start doing podcasts where it's like 4 people sitting around a table, drinking, shooting the shit, and having a good time while we do it. But I got a feeling that won't happen for a little bit, at least until I'm back from Cuba. I have been talking to people who I do want on the show. You all know who you are because you listen to every single episode, and I salute you for it. But like, there isn't really too much. The 4 plugin I'm looking at does the exact same thing as the Steinberg UR22, just 2 more jacks to plug in, 2 more mics, and just change the volume for all of them. And it comes with 2 headphone jacks, so you can have 2 headphones going at once, but with little adapters, you can have all 4 going at once. You know what I mean? It's not the biggest advances. The biggest thing I just kind of want to do is figure out cheap ways to soundproof this room, because I feel like there's cheaper ways than buying those foam things that you see in PewDiePie's office and Markiplier's and shit. There's got to be cheaper ways than that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but there's got to be a cheaper way than doing that. I could be wrong, I could be right. I don't know, but I've been looking at a lot of do-it-yourselves. A lot of like musicians I know, like local musicians tell me different things. Carpets, egg cartons. Like right now you can't see it, but I have my old single mattress from my old bed. That kind of helps it. I just shot a video the other day just for fun of me playing a game without that in here. And oh my God, I thought the echo was bad without that in here. Or with that in here, without it. Way more gnarlier. But yeah, that's actually it. Wow. This is actually a second try for me trying to get this podcast. So the first one I just didn't like. I forgot to mention Anchor. I forgot to mention a bunch of stuff. I got off a 10-hour shift and it was just, I felt so exhausted, but I had to get it out. And it turned out to be a terrible idea. So I never like uploaded it or even edited it. I literally gave up on editing it and just closed everything, and went on with my night. I feel like this was a lot better of a podcast, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, big shout out to everyone I shout out in the beginning. Like, I can't believe people are watching this. I can't believe people are supporting this. I can't believe people are still listening to my voice, because I absolutely hate this voice. If you like this voice, I feel like you're high on crack. It's not that good of a voice. But, yeah, I'm really happy with this, and I feel like the podcast is going to honestly keep going, because I got so many ideas on top of bonus clips and shit. A bonus clip is probably coming. I can't guarantee it. I am pretty excited about the Logan Paul versus KSI fight. I think it's going to be awesome seeing them boxing without helmets. I might do a bonus clip talking about, because I did watch the Maverick documentary. Haven't watched anything in KSI. I'm not really a big fan of KSI or Logan Paul, but I kind of am rooting for Logan Paul because he is the underdog, just like myself. But you never know. You honestly never know. But I really, honestly, to everyone who's been listening since the first episode, thank you guys very much. And for new people, there's a bunch of ways to listen to it. Like I said, if you type in the Honestly Lazy podcast over on Spotify, it will come up. And that's the only other way I'd really recommend it. It is on iTunes Music, but I just look at Spotify for right now, because I feel like that's where people are listening to podcasts nowadays. So Honestly Lazy podcast over on Spotify. If you're on the go and you want to listen, go right ahead. All the episodes are up there. And if you're at home and you want to listen to it on YouTube, and for some reason just watch me moving my hands around for a half hour, then it's obviously on YouTube as well. But that will do it for me today. I am having so much fun with this. Like, seriously, I don't know why it took me so long to get a podcast going. I really just chirped the living hell out of them, and I feel bad now for chirping the living hell out of them. Suited Bird, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this thing to a half hour. I love it. I love just being this small, because I can say Suited Bird and shit and nobody knows what's going on. This cue card is officially done. We did it. Another cue card down. It's amazing too. I'm going to say this before I go. If you're doing a podcast, let me tell you, cue cards right here are the way to go. Every episode that's worked out well is on a cue card. And maybe if I ever get famous with it, I will give these out to people, just random cue cards. Maybe when I hit like 100 episodes, I'll give all 100 away and I'll sign every single one or something. But that is if I have a following. If not, then I'll just keep them, and then I'll have to sign like 1,000, and then that would really, really suck. But I will do it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the Honestly Lazy podcast. If you have any questions for me that you want me to turn into an episode, please leave it in the comments down below on YouTube, or DM me on Twitter at BoyStick Channel, Instagram just at BoyStick, Facebook at Stick. Who cares about Facebook though? Nobody cares about Facebook anymore. I hate it. I don't really upload to it. I literally upload the podcast there just for my friends and shit to see. If you want to ask me questions, I recommend all my other social medias, which are in the description down below. Ooh, another episode down. That feels so good. All right. Love you guys to death. Thank you so much for listening to my voice for another half hour. And until next time, your host, BoyStick, is signing off. That was a very awkward bye, but bye.